Larry, I remember in 2017 when your old teammate Kurt Warner got enshrined. You were on that stage, backstage, and you couldn't believe all the greatness that was assembled there. This Saturday, you're going to be part of that greatness. Has the magnitude of all of this hit you?
I think it kind of did last night. I was able to be around some of the guys last night. You know, I got a chance to meet Drew Pearson and got a chance to be around James Lofton and Steve Largent and some of the guys last night. And I think the way they were talking to me, it was like, hey, you're a part of this fraternity. And I think that is starting to feel more normal now. And I think, you know, after Saturday night being up there with all of them, I think I'll feel like I belong.
I love that the wide receivers coming to kind of open their arms up to you a little
Charlie
bit.
Joyner was super nice to me, and so like, you know, it was cool last night.
Now you also were part of the team that played in the Hall of Fame game. Your Arizona Cardinals are here, the only team you ever played for. What about them kicking off the season tonight?
Well, it's amazing. I love the fact that they're going to be here and hopefully get a bunch of Cardinal fans that are here supporting us. And it'd be great to see Marv and Mike Wilson and Buda Baker and Trey McBride and be able to get a little love show tonight. You know, I don't know how much we'll see him, and so I'm really looking forward to a great game, competitive game, and great season for him.
I love you mentioned Buda Baker, the one guy still with the Cardinals from when you were there. I want to revisit this now a couple months later when Randy Moss broke the news to you that you were coming into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of course, in the moment it was magical.
Yeah.
But now that you look back on it, I mean, does it feel any more special?
Now, I was really disappointed that you knew and you were there and you didn't shoot me a text message and let me know so I could prepare. I would have wore a different outfit. I'd have got my hair done, all that stuff. No, but seriously, it was unbelievable to have Randy do that. It was well documented that he went through a lot of health issues the year before. For him to get on the plane from Charlotte to come down there and make that experience that meaningful to me, based on the relationship that I've had with him since 1998, it meant the world to me, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience, a better moment with somebody that I truly care about.
Now, one thing that's unique about this class, 4 contemporaries, 4 of the 5 members going in played against each other. Of course, the great Roger Craig going in as a senior. Do you think there's going to be kind of a unique thread through all of your speeches since you guys all, for the most part, came up together?
You know, I have no sense of what guys will be talking about. You know, I have no insight on what the speeches look like or the length of them or anything like that. But, you know, I think it's unique that all of us did play in the same era outside of Mr. Craig. And I watched them, you know, have their best moments and triumphs and defeats. And, you know, I think there's a similarity that we all kind of share amongst each other. And more so, it's a respect that we have for one another.
Yeah, it's been kind of cool watching you guys kind of grow a real tight bond this offseason. Okay, we know the great Hall of Fame coach, John Madden, said that when the lights go out, the busts talk to one another. So your Mount Rushmore, and follow me on this, it's only 4 of bust. If they were together, who would be the most entertaining conversation?
Oh, for sure. The D linemen are the biggest personality. So you get Charles Haley.
Oh, God.
Next to Warren Sapp. With Ray Lewis. And Deion Sanders, I don't think there'll be much air in the room.
Is anybody else going to get?
Yeah, that's what I said. You said who would be the most entertaining? If I was sitting around the fireplace and I couldn't talk, who would I want to be listening to?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Last one with the bust. I mean, we know all the detail that goes into it. Man. Like, how detailed are the locks? Because this has been like a really strong. Over the past 5 or 6 years, the hair bust game going in. I mean, are you going to get up there with Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu and those guys?
Well, Blair is the best in the world and at building these sculptures. I got a chance to go out and spend time with him and his wife in Utah a couple times, and we did a bunch of Zooms and FaceTimes to be able to get the details right. And he puts so much effort and meticulous time and effort into making these things special. And, you know, I can't wait to see the finished product. I feel like I have a general understanding. My dad will be on the FaceTimes with us when he was talking, and I got a chance to show him. He was like, man, your lips are not that big. And I was like, Blair, can you work on that? And my ear on this side and the hair, can you make it a little bit like this? And he worked really, really well with me. And it was great to be able to see somebody who has a Hall of Fame skill set in like creating busts, you know, created a bust for me. And, you know, it was a really fun process to go through.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck. Have fun tonight. I'll be with you the rest of this journey and looking forward to it.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll see you tonight.
Luke, for starters, You've been on this field before, playing a state championship game at St. Xavier High School. What is it like almost kind of coming full circle, knowing you played a championship game here and now you're going into the Hall of Fame here?
Yeah, it's super cool. So it really started when I was in grade school. I came up here with one of my good buddies. We toured the Hall of Fame. So we went through the Hall of Fame, saw the exhibits, and I remember going through the bus room and seeing all the Super Bowl rings and how cool that was. And then I actually sat over on that side right there, and I watched 2 high school state championship games. One of them was St. Xavier High School, and then you nailed it. I played here as a junior in the state championship game when it was Fawcett Field before all the renovations. So it's cool. It's kind of full circle.
That's great. Now, you're only the 3rd player who's played for the Panthers to be going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of course, the late Sam Mills, sorry about that, and Julius Peppers. What is that like? The one franchise you played for, you're iconic with that organization, and to be the 3rd guy going in with those 2.
Well, I think the coolest part is when I got to Carolina in 2012, the room that I walked into was obviously the linebacking room, and the first guy you mentioned, Sam Mills, played in that room, and he coached in that room, and inside the collar of our jerseys it said, "Keep pounding," and that was a phrase that Sam Mills coined and is the heartbeat of our organization. So that to me is really cool. That the standard for that room was set by Sam, and then I got the opportunity to play with Julius Peppers, and you hear the legend of Pep and who he is and how he played and what he was, and you see his pictures on the wall when I got to Carolina, but he was in Chicago, and then he was in Green Bay, and then I remember Thomas Davis called me, FaceTimed me, and he was in a car with Pep, and Pep says he said I'm coming home. So it was full circle. I got to hear the legend of Pep, the pictures, the tape, the film. And then I got to play 2 years with Pep at the end of his career. It was awesome.
That's awesome. You know, one of the things you think about Canton, Ohio, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame are the great linebackers, right? Mm-hmm. Buckus, Singletary, Urlacher, Ray Lewis. You're going to be going into that group. Is there any, like, cool thing about one of those linebackers, that group of linebackers, you're like, man, I'm with them forever now?
I think you model your game after all the guys that are in the Hall of Fame prior to you, right? And you nailed all those guys, and you want to be like them, and you want to emulate them, and you pick one thing from each of those guys. You know, Zach Thomas is a guy that I saw him last week, and his propensity and his ability to be around the ball, in my opinion, was phenomenal. Just effort and toughness and ability to get there, and Ray's tenacity and energy and leadership and the length of his career, and Brian Urlacher for his ability to play in coverage and be a big backer and cover ground on that great Bears defense. I saw Mike Singletary last night, and the eyes, and we have the Nitschke luncheon. Like, all this stuff is so fun, and now to be here with him is really cool.
That's great. Now, I was with Sean Payton last Saturday.
Yeah.
Sean said the worst thing that the curators of the hall could do is to put your bust next to Drew Brees' bust because nobody else would get a word in. So, what do you say to that? Because it could very well happen, because you and Drew had those epic IQ battles. What do you think about if your busts are right next to each other? You guys going to be chatting all night?
You know what's funny is you talk about that, and there's so many things you want to ask guys while you're playing. But I can't walk up to Drew and be like, hey, Drew, when we're playing this, and what did you look at, and how did you see it, and where'd you go, and what did this call mean? And because he's not going to tell you. Right. But now you can be like, hey, Drew, like, hey, remember this and this? Like, what did that mean? And now he'll tell you. So that's the best part. And Sean brings up a really good point. If you're right, if he's right there, I'll probably wear Drew out asking him a million questions that he probably doesn't want to answer.
Okay, and last one. You're the only defender going in right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got all these dudes.
What about Adam? I'll take Adam. I'll claim Adam.
He kicked points.
No, he tackled a couple people.
Okay.
I think he tackled Bo Jackson. I think that was his claim to fame.
Either Bo Jackson or Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker. It was Herschel.
That's the big one.
It was Herschel. So he's a defender.
Okay, so
I'm going to claim him as mine.
So you claim Adam is yours. But let's talk about that part, too, because you've got so many prolific offensive guys. Yeah. You've got the all-time leading scorer in Adam Vinatieri, and you're the one defender. Mm-hmm. In your kind of relationships that you built since you guys found out, like, has there been any of these guys who've done anything that's so special or meaningful that you're like, wow, like Roger Craig did this? Or
I think the first one with Rodgers, the first guy to go 1,000.
Right.
That was unheard of, you know, to think of. And there's only been one other guy, our guy, my guy Christian. So it's for him to be the first to do something in the NFL is super impressive. I don't care if it was 50 years ago or if it was last week. to be the first to do something is really special, and I think that's Roger. And then Adam, he's got 4 rings. He's made 1 million big kicks. He's had 2 great careers with 2 teams.
How about that?
And then I can talk about Drew and Larry. What Larry, his consistency and his durability and his ability to catch everything and play outside, inside, block, and then Drew's numbers speak for himself. I think this class is really special to me for a lot of reasons. I got to play against Drew, Larry, and Adam, and then getting to know Roger has been phenomenal.
Well, this is one of the best classes to ever go in, so congratulations on being a member of the class of 26.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it.
You got it.